This is the Facit Standard, complete with missing bell, made by the Swedish company at Wittenberg, starting in 1923. It was designed by Carl Rudin and had a few upgrades over his first pinwheel calculator from 1918. Rudin died in 1939, but was evidently surrounded by ladies who just loved his calculator. That last one here is not Rudin, but I think accurately represents the attention you can expect should you whip out a Facit at your next office party. So this Facit Standard is a pinwheel and works just like any other pinwheel calculator. Here's 25 times 25. It had unique shift little tabs that Rudin called the decimal tabulators. Only the difference was, whereas other unstable tippy pinwheels only had 4 legs, Rudin solved that problem by adding a 5th leg. Just try to tip this thing over, like a rock. The decimal tabulators worked smoothly enough. They had a little thumb tab for leverage that seemed a bit unnecessary. But if push-button tabbing wasn't your thing, you could spin this little piece here. Not that piece. It's that dial on the left there, just above the bell. Rudin called that the knob. And this early marketing showed it having knurls or something, but mine doesn't, and neither did any others. But you could turn that and press the corresponding button that corresponded with the place you wanted it to end up at, and it would stop right at that place. A simple feature that always impresses me is that little clearing lever. It has to move out of the way when not in use so the pinwheels can turn. Now, I don't have the engineering vocabulary to describe what I'm trying to describe, but what Rudin came up with was a cam and follower that pivoted on separate points so that when their circles' arcs intercepted, the mechanism was engaged. And then when you released it, the arcs moved away from each other and they disengaged. So here's the mechanism with the cover off. All the features, additional features, meant that the interior was getting a little more busy than the first generation pinwheels. So right where my bell is missing is where normally on other pinwheels the counter register would be. So since Rudin moved his to the top where the check register would normally be, he had to make a mechanism that would allow the counter register to increment and decrement. And that's what I'm showing right there. So that would turn, would move back and forth, and that bar right there spun, which moved the finger or the tooth that would increment and decrement. Pretty cool. Earlier you heard that bell ring. This machine had 2 bells, and the inside bell would ring for most of the overflows unless the carriage was in the extreme right 2 positions. Here's that rapid carriage shifting knob. It has a little lockout so that when it's engaged you can't shift or you can't crank, and when the crank is moving you can't shift the carriage. So that's the Facit Standard. Thanks for watching.